Hi, everybody. I'm Bandai Namco's own Tanner Levine, and we have two very special guests here today to talk to you about Code Vein 2. So before we get into that, who are you and who let you in here?
Will you go first?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm RareGangster. I am an 18 plus variety streamer that specializes in Souls challenge runs. So I'm very, very excited for Code Vein 2.
And I am SYROBE. I am a professional speedrunner for Souls-like games, and I make lots of content for Elden Ring, and I'm very excited for Code Vein 2. Very, very soon. Can't wait to make
And
videos
Tanner's
on
the one
that
that let us in here.
That's
So.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Actually, we broke in here. We came uninvited.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
You came in here, you brought all your own cameras, and
Yep.
I'm actually stuck to the table. I can't leave.
You're
We're
the
holding him
hostage.
So today, you guys had actually a very rare experience.
It was amazing.
You had a first hands-on look at the create a character for Code Vein 2, and then you saw one of our expert, let's call him an expert, players run through a boss fight.
Yeah,
So,
he did well. He did great, actually.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he did. Let him know. We'll let him know. Good job, buddy. You did it. So yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into it. Like the create a character, like what was your first thoughts on it? Like how did you just go? How was that?
You go first.
It
I'll
was
let you
just
go.
so many options. I couldn't believe it. Like, you could change the environment behind your character the exact time if you want to see your character in the rain, 5:31 a.m., and how that lighting will impact the look of them.
Yeah, it
You
was
could see
very,
that.
very specific. You could.
So atmospheric.
Yeah.
So many options.
It wasn't just like a morning sunrise, like 2 settings.
Yeah.
It was like you pick the time and the minutes, like the hour and the minutes, very specific for the lighting. It was just like a little cinematic shot. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
And what I think I loved about that was you kind of like you got into it and you immediately started like getting the background, adjusting it. And like I've never done that.
Yeah.
When you started changing the time, I was like, wait, you could do that?
There's so many bells and whistles that I was like, I didn't know I needed this until I experienced it in the character creation.
Yeah, exactly.
And mind you, the character creation was awesome. It was so much more robust than the first game. I think the first game's character creation was really what sold it for me.
It was pretty
But the
good.
second game is just like that cranked up everything to the max. There's so many different presets, so many different customizable options, things that I didn't even know I wanted in a character creation, I was able to customize. And that was the big highlight for me. The worst part of it, though, you guys only gave us 30 minutes. I would like a few hours next time, because that was not nearly enough time. But I think I made a really cool character. I made him look like my little avatar, my little VTuber. So it was pretty cool regardless.
Yeah, it was funny. You came in there and you were like, "Let me know when it's a 5-minute warning." And I
Yeah.
I felt like we were only sitting there for a couple minutes, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, this is the 5-minute warning," and you guys were like, "Well, I've done my hair."
Yeah. No, like I promise you, like 30 minutes went by so fast. I remember it was like 15-minute mark, the halfway point, and I just finished the hair, like the top half of it. I didn't even get to the outfits, the accessories, the colors, the tattoos, the marks, the different things that you can do with each like outfit piece. Because you have like a top, then you have the bottoms, but you have like 5 different colors that you can customize every single individual color.
Mhm.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
It blew me away. And I definitely think that I will be spending several hours on my own time when I get the chance.
With
And-
multiple characters.
Yes.
And you had a particularly sort of cool moment when you were going through it because you were trying to make your character look
Yeah.
like your avatar.
No,
and
yeah,
there was something you were missing once upon a time, right?
Yeah. So in the first game, I notably when you go to this accessories, there wasn't like a demon horn. They had like a couple like head pieces, but it wasn't like an actual horn. So I was surprised. I was like, oh, they actually added a horn to this game. And to most people, that might not be a big deal. But I was trying to replicate my VTuber, and my VTuber model that I have,
Yeah.
he has a demon horn. So I was like, oh, that's so cool that I can actually add and make it look just like my VTuber character. Like I replicated it fairly well, fairly accurately. And I was surprised that I was able to like, I kept going through it and like, can I do this? I'm like, oh, of course I can.
Mhm.
What about this? And every single change that I made, I was just like, can I do this? And I just found it like, yeah, you can.
Yeah, so Rare, what was doing your character like? What jumped out to you?
Oh, well, the presets were already very, very diverse. Like none of them looked really similar to the other.
They
So
were very
I
solid.
immediately got excited because I was like, okay, I want to make a bunch of different like characters and homages to famous characters in movies and things like that. I was like, I want to do something silly. I was like, I want to do Lord Farquaad from Shrek. But then I didn't realize I was going to have enough time to do that. And I kept saying like more and more options and I kept changing my mind. And then I was like, I want to do this character, then this character.
It might be the most robust character creation system I've seen in recent years. And that is saying a lot because there have been some pretty solid character creation systems in other games. But specifically Code Veins 2, I feel like takes it to another level.
Yeah, like
I feel like it was very, very solid and thorough.
Agreed. There was one part where I was like going through the accessories and I was scrolling down and I felt like I was watching a snail do a marathon because it was just
pages and pages.
Yeah, and like every single one you scrolled through, you were like, "Oh, I have a new idea. Oh, this beret makes me think of this and this, this particular hair accessory and all that stuff." Like
it's funny.
It deadass took like 2 minutes to scroll to the bottom though. It was crazy, and you could set like a bunch of different like accessories and combine them with each other. So I'm really, really excited to.
It's funny because we were almost out of time, and I'm still listening to her go, "What do I make?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like we're almost out of time. Like you gotta pick quickly."
Yeah.
But that really does show that 30 minutes was like not nearly enough time. Like that is how robust it is. There are so many different settings, bells and whistles that come pre-packaged in with the character system that I think are amazing.
Yeah, and what I just absolutely loved, and I mentioned this a bit ago, it was like that you guys took completely different pathways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like you kind of just started with, just brain open, like
vibes.
What do I want to do? And you're like, okay, I have a specific thing I want to do, and you stuck to it. And even then, like, I mean, you were pretty happy with where you got in that 30 minutes, but I'm sure if you could go back and spend another 2 hours just making
easily,
it exactly the way you
without
want
question, easily I could spend a few more
like
hours.
I don't think I even saw you go through eyes. Like
no, I was trying to get like the main core components to make it just kind of recognizable,
just the vibe,
to reference my OC, my character, and I think I did a pretty good job within the 30-minute time limit. But no, that was I could have definitely spent several hours just in that system alone. It is really, really like they've thought of like everything.
Yeah,
things that I never thought of, that I wasn't even thinking of.
Yeah. And I was sitting there the whole time. Like one of the coolest things I think about it is you have the different clothing options, right? But a lot of them are a little modular where you can like take off a part or something.
Yeah.
And I wanted you guys to get there because it's so like
I did get there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because you go through and you see all these really crazy clothing options. And then there's actually something underneath that overcoat that completely changes the vibe of the outfit, and like that's something I absolutely love about
there were also like styles of it, so like if you chose like a certain overcoat or like cape, there were like different variants of the same one that you could have. Like, do you want it over the left or the right, or do you want it like split down the middle or the back? And you could change like all of the different accent colors on like every single piece of clothing. There was like 5 different colors for just one article of clothing. And you can change every single individual color. And there's a bajillion colors too, by the way. Like there's every color in the known universe on that palette. And it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it got to a point. So they have like a bunch of like really cool outfits and stuff. Some of them may be homages. Some of them remind me of Code Vein 1.
They did have some, there were some that were from the first game specifically.
Yeah,
I remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it was Louis.
I remember, so it's fine.
I saw
Spoilers.
Louis. Yeah. Louis from the first game. I saw Louis in there.
Yeah, but it was cool because I would like pick an outfit and I'd be like, okay, I like this. And then I got to coats and I was like, but I can't put this coat on with that outfit because then it's going to clash. So I was like, okay, I have to like completely restructure. I felt like a drunk adult at a Care Bear factory, I was like, it was so much fun. There was so much to do, but I did not have enough time.
I could see like for a new player, it could even be overwhelming for like, that's how many things in a good way.
And that's the great thing about the presets. Like, as you said, there's so much variety in the presets that if you're feeling overwhelmed by looking at all these options, you're like, okay, I still have I have these baselines here that I can start from, or I can just stick with them and still feel like I don't look the exact same as a lot of the other people playing this game. Like that option is still there if you're not like a heavy customizer type person.
That makes me think of a question as a streamer.
Okay.
Sometimes like I will just like pick a build, that way I'm not spending the entire stream like in the character creator. Can you change your appearance later in the game? I don't know if that's something you can disclose to us yet.
You absolutely can. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this, but
you could in the first game though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In the first game.
Yeah, there is absolutely an area you can come back to at any time.
Perfect.
To recustomize your character. So if you're feeling like maybe I love this. And then like maybe you get into the game and you didn't go through 5:31 on a rainy morning, right? And you're like, when you get to that,
You're like, actually, I hate this.
yeah, when you get to that minute, you're like, the lights making me look like my complexion is like not what I wanted.
I want to change my skin tone.
Yeah, so you can go back and you can do that at any time, and like you can just explore, and you're not locked in.
Cool, because in practicality on stream, that's probably what I'll do. I might just like run with a preset, or like if I don't do it off stream, then take like 3 hours.
Yeah, get yourself in there. Do it off stream, come back, be like,
exactly.
check my fits kind of thing.
Or like you said, if you want to change it, if you want to tweak something later, maybe you're like having a different vibe halfway through and you're like, okay, I don't want to be Lord Farquaad now. I want to be Ocelot.
Yeah.
And
like halfway through the game, you're like, I'm more powerful. Maybe I should have bigger shoulders.
I think that is my favorite thing about, like, I know when this game comes out, people are going to be making like their favorite characters from like either movies or TV shows or different.
Oh, I'm definitely making
games.
Danny DeVito at some point.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the best parts, is that you could probably make just about any character with that creation system. It is that robust. And I was just surprised that I was able to make my character look so accurate to my like VTuber or my OC character. I was like, wow, this is like, I didn't think I would be able to get that close, because in the first game I tried the same thing and I got like, it was okay. But the newest version of the character creation, I was like, wow, I really almost made it like 1-to-1. Like that was scarily close to my character.
Yeah. You were showing us after, and
it's
it's really there. You know, you guys didn't just see the creative character today, right? You saw a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of hacking and slashing and jumping.
A little sneak peek of some never seen before gameplay.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, before we even get into what you saw, like when you walked in here today, did you know that you were going to see gameplay? Like, did you know that?
Yes.
We knew to an extent, but not what, I think. I don't think we knew exactly what we were going to see, but like we were going to see something. We were going to get a little surprise, but we didn't know exactly what. And it blew me away, I will say. I think it is
like
very smooth.
Once we got in and like, you know, we had the game on the screen, on the big screen, like what was like the first thing that struck you?
This looks amazing.
Yeah,
this looks amazing. Graphics-wise,
yeah,
definitely improved from the first game on a just all graphics front. It looked beautiful. The characters look amazing. The effects were very, very vibrant and like eye candy is the word I want to use.
You mentioned it was running smoother too.
Yeah. It was like the combat specifically, because I mainly focus on the combat, was far, far like improved from the first game. It was great. It looked very fluid. All of the abilities and the attack combos and different ways that you can combo your am I allowed to say the name of the abilities? I don't know.
Go nuts.
I'll be more general. Just like the abilities that you have with the weapons and the companions that you have all together just flowed seamlessly and definitely improved from the first game.
Yeah. And kind of having also that sort of expanded arsenal, like, you know, what we were watching, he started with the bayonet and then he was switching into that bow ability and using the different skills and stuff.
Oh, we can talk about the weapons too.
Sure, like, you saw it today.
My favorite by far, the flying dual blades. Yes, flying. They like hover
really
around
cool.
you. You have like this aura, this like telekinetic psychic powers where you're just pointing and throwing like punches, but then while you're doing that, swords are spinning around you and they have like range attack with the swords, melee attack with the swords. It is probably the most complex weapon that I've seen that we were able to see, and I can't wait to mess with it. Yeah, it's going to be broken, I bet.
The formal name for that weapon type, I believe, is rune blades.
Rune blades, because there are dual blades, not to get them confused. There are regular dual blades, and then there are the rune blades, right? Yeah. And those are the ones that are like flying around you, like dancing blades in the air. They're so cool.
Yeah, and Code Vein 1, the build variety was really good. So to see it even built upon and made it even stronger, I was really impressed with. As someone who's a little bit more critical of Code Vein 1, everything I saw here today really made it seem like they took any criticisms, the devs took any like criticisms and kind of focused on it. Like for me personally, companion AI seemed a lot more improved. We didn't get to see too many dungeons, but the dungeons looked beautiful. The design of the dungeons, as far as navigating them, seemed a lot more intuitive and better, which most of Code Vein 1 had good ones, but there were a few like the Cathedral in Code Vein 1 that I feel like could have been improved personally, as well as bosses. We got to see one of the early bosses, probably one of the first like main bosses in this game, and he seemed a lot more difficult as a challenge runner. I looked towards like enemy AI and I was like, okay, there's a lot of things here Felt like a lot more combos. Felt like a lot more complex than Code Vein 1 was. So it was just had me really excited. It was just like anything that I was kind of like, okay, this could be improved. This could be improved. Seemed vastly improved. So I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that boss fight you saw a little bit because we spent some time looking at just sort of running through a dungeon, fighting your standard enemies. But yes, then we did jump into the boss fight with Franz, and yeah, I mean, he's a big guy. You guys saw the whole fight start to finish. You saw it a couple times actually. Yeah, I mean, like you were saying that it felt
dynamic.
Yeah.
Felt he was very quick. As someone who like my specialty is doing like Elden Ring and FromSoft challenge runs. Me just analyzing his moveset, I was like, okay, I would need to take a little bit of time to be able to like realize what I would have to do and how to implement a strategy to combat these mechanics. Very quick, fast paced, dynamic. Had a good like variety of moveset too. It was not just very same. I feel like SYROBE felt the same way.
When I was looking at the boss fight, one of the things that I noticed is he did have 2 phases, and you'll notice when he gets into the second phase. The first phase was, I would say, fairly honest, and then the second phase is like, all right, you asked for it. And I love when you can feel that power shift in the boss fight. You're like,
very
okay,
reminiscent of Horaloo. And
he's
Elden
not
Ring.
going down without a fight. He will put up a fight, but it was pretty interesting to see the phase change itself. I think he got a lot more moves and new move sets that he didn't have in the first phase. And that's what really sells it for me in boss fights is that the second phase felt vastly different than the first. It wasn't like just the first with like maybe 1 or 2. It was like a completely different boss at that point. And I really liked that feel, knowing that this boss fight, the second phase, felt completely different than the first phase is what really sells boss fights for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really cool aspect to it. And like, especially when you get into that second phase, like as you were saying, like he does more stuff, but even the stuff that he was doing in his first phase, those attacks, they have additional components to them. Yeah. Like his ground slam attack will have a follow-up like sort of shockwave that he doesn't
different
have
effects too. And
and so you do need to like keep those things in mind. You need to be a little bit more careful. He's more aggressive. He's got more laser beam shooting out
way
of his
more
head.
petrification.
At a certain point, he's shooting out that petrification beam, and it's just like you kind of have to be on your toes for all of it when you get into that second phase, which I think is really
it was
cool.
a really cool boss, and he is really cool. He has a really cool design. I think I love his aesthetic. He kind of has like that little like officer feeling to him, like a royal guard almost. I would love to know more about his lore, but I'm sure we'll find out when we play.
What I loved about his design, it felt like he had a like Medusa-esque head with his petrification beam, but the entire design kind of felt very like Achilles, very like Herculean, almost like Roman or Grecian like hero mixed with WWE fighter.
Right.
So I really liked that too, and I felt like it kind of complemented his moveset.
No, yeah, that's a great assessment. And the part where in the second phase is where he's kind of like holding his head, and you guys like immediately keyed into that, like, oh, this kind of has like that vibe, and then he shoots the petrification beam. And there it is.
It was a great fight. Yeah. We got to see it multiple times too with different builds and stuff.
Yeah.
I only was in there for the first one with you guys. So the first one he went through was with the short, just the regular one-handed sword, right?
And then he did
don't
scythe,
remember
right?
exactly. Yeah, we had him.
We did it like 3 or 4 times. I think
He ran it back a couple times with different builds and different setups, and we got to see different ways of fighting it.
When you were watching any of them though, watching the specific moveset he was using, did you feel like, oh, this is what I would want to do in this fight?
There was one specific attack, and it was, I don't know if he planned it, but it was very well timed regardless. The boss kind of floats up in the air.
Yeah.
And while he was floating up in the air, he charged up his, I think it was the jail attack.
The bat jail?
Yes, the bat one, which is kind of range, because the other ones are more like a melee, right? They're more like glorified melee. The bat one had range to it. So while he was floating in the air, he got off that charge attack and was able to DPS him without really being near him. But that was unique to the jail that he was using. If he was using a different jail, then it would have been melee. He would have missed because he was flying way above him. But with the bats, he was actually able to hit him in that time frame. And it really shows that depending on your build, depending on your setup, there's going to be so many different ways to approach boss fights. Sure. And I'm very, very excited for that. As a speedrunner and a challenge runner, being able to approach the same boss in different ways is very important.
Yeah, and I think that's also a very cool thing about the blood code system, which we didn't really interact with very much today, but just having that flexibility of like not being locked into your build and being like, yes, I do want to approach this boss with more agility, or this boss I want to just, do jump heavies. Like you have that flexibility. So if you are doing a challenge run, doing a speed run, like you're not like, oh, this boss is going to really suck because I just fully spec'd into strength. Like
exactly. No take backsies.
Yeah.
The different abilities were really cool. He showcased one ability, if I can speak on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The ability that he showed was that there was like a defensive option where you usually equip a shield, but there was one ability in particular where he had a dash. It was like a really quick dash with way
almost
more
like a bloodhound
iframes.
step.
Yeah, it was like a normal, instead of a normal roll, it would be like more like a bloodhound step and have way more iframes than a regular dodge roll, but at the cost of your I-core.
Yeah.
And the interesting part about that was, even though that seems really, really OP on paper, it actually came with a drawback that I don't think from what he told me, he said you weren't able to parry with that on.
Yeah.
So you
have to
gain,
choose.
but it's a good trade-off because you gain the access to way more iframes at the cost of something else.
Yeah.
So it really changes your playstyle. Like, well, if you like parrying, you're going to have to equip the parry shield. But if you don't want to parry, then you'll probably want to take more advantage of those extra iframes.
Yeah, and to your point, since the dash and the parry and the regular shield, those are all kind of occupying that same defensive slot.
Yeah, and they all go in the same slot. So it's shield or the extra dash. But you still have a roll regardless. You have the default roll, like the mid roll that you have. It's just this was a special kind of dodge that instead of a shield would give you way more iframes and not really be a roll, more like a quick dash.
Yeah, and it just comes down to like the way you want to play it. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, it seems OP to have that extra dash, but you can not block anymore.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that could, wind you up in a bad situation.
And that's
So
perfect because some people prefer parrying, some people prefer dodging. It really caters to allow you to play however you want and approach things however you wish. And that's what I love. The freedom in that choice is amazing for me.
Yeah, and it was a strength of the first Code Vein, and I'm glad that they didn't just drop in, they just built upon it and made it even better, especially being able to have your companions complement your builds and choosing companions depending on what build you do. And then you could change your build and experiment with different companions. Like, that was one of the things I loved about the first one, and it seems even better in this one. So I'm excited.
The companions and like the flexibility of them, and your ability also to switch them sort of where sometimes having a second body in the fight like may not be what you want at that moment, and you can move away from that. Like, that's an option, right?
And it seems, I don't know if you can disclose this to us, it seemed to me based on what we saw that there is going to be a lot more companions this go around.
There's a good chunk of them.
And the blood codes as well.
Yeah.
I saw a couple blood codes from the characters because they've released some character trailers already. Those are already up. And we were able to get an early look at what their blood codes do, or like what the stats are and all that stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah. Everything about Code Vein 2 is more, it's more blood codes, it's more jails, it's more companions, it's more abilities, and
polished.
And more polished, of course.
Seemed a lot more polished.
Very,
too.
very fluid and polished for everything that I was looking at. And that was great.
We talked about what you guys saw today, but I do, while I've got you here, if you guys are interested, if you're not interested, you let me know, to tell you a little bit about, the sort of setting of Code Vein 2, about the sort of
story.
Yeah, I would love to hear more because we weren't really able to get into that. So I would love to hear
whatever. They kept skipping cutscenes. We didn't get, and I was trying to trick them and con them into.
Secret.
I know, we were like, oh, cool, we saw the whole boss fight, but they skipped the cutscenes. We couldn't see it. So now, but it's good because now I'll be able to go back and be like, hey, I didn't see this the first time around.
So I think as we've made clear in the stuff we released so far, there's a major time travel component to this.
Yes.
Yep, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah. And so that time travel is facilitated by your sort of main companion, Lou.
Yeah.
Who has, she's everywhere. She's the sweet little girl with her heart exposed.
And quite literally.
And if I remember from the trailer, she shared her heart with us from the story trailer that we saw.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, there was a sort of you got involved in a bad dust up, and she had to save you by
resurrected us.
So you guys are very tied together, but the sort of eras that you're going to be time traversing, is that a thing? I'm going to say it's a thing. Between in this game is sort of the present, right? And then 100 years in the past.
So back and forth, not just, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
That gives me theories.
Oh, I didn't realize that the back and forth, you didn't know that. Yeah.
I knew it was in a different time period. I wasn't sure that we would be going back and forth during it.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so
that would make sense. The like
That's really cool.
almost
Yeah.
blue miasma that was covering.
Yeah.
I bet you that was back in the past. Now I'm like putting things together.
Yeah. And so in the past, so let me think of where to start this. So the sort of main issue plaguing the world in Code Vein 2 relates to the resurgence. The resurgence is sort of a disaster, sort of recurring problem that causes people to turn into horrors. That's all the enemies that you fight, these nightmare creatures. And the revenants sort of showed up to put a stop to that.
Yeah.
To seal away the resurgence so that these horrors would stop showing up. And the main events of 100 years ago are basically the last time that happened. The last time that the resurgence was on the cusp of breaking free, and a group of heroes had to come together to stop it in something called the upheaval. So as you as the main character, you're sort of trying to go back in time to sort of figure out what happened during that period to prevent it from happening, to prevent the resurgence from coming through again. And that sort of
Back to the Future style.
Well, you sure?
Yeah.
So
There's a mystery.
yeah, it's figuring out what happened, figuring out what you can do and how you can maybe change things in the past to fix it. And yeah, that's all centered around our girl Lou.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder if there's any sort of butterfly effect consequences or mechanics that we can look forward to.
Oh, that's you're a smart one, aren't you? Yeah, we'll definitely see and think about that in the future. But yeah, that's sort of like the sort of setting that we're looking at here. So, it's still the same Code Vein world. You still have your revenants, you still have your blood codes and all of that stuff, but this pressing issue that you have is this new concern. Getting down into a little bit of you guys as streamers, as people who play things for challenges, like do you, the first time you're going through, are you kind of like picking apart the lore? Is that something that grips you, or are you just like trying to find the hardest way to play a game possible?
No, usually, like, despite being a challenge runner and speed runner, your first playthrough is always something special where you really want to take in as much as you can and ask yourself, like, why am I fighting these people? Who are these people that I'm killing? And like, not everybody does that. Some people just want to hit things, and that's completely fine. But for me, at least, whenever I go to a boss, one of the things that I noticed about the boss that we saw was he started out pretty like normal, like a human, like he was recognizable. Then he turned into something vicious, like a monster, almost like an animal. And knowing, okay, what caused that to happen? What happened to him to lead to that point? Because he wasn't like that at the start. He became only like halfway through the fight in his second phase. And I always love finding out why the boss functions the way it does, because it does impact its gameplay, right? His phase change is a big point, a turning point in the fight.
Sure.
But then looking at it from a lore perspective, why did he change like that? How did he get like this? Where are these powers coming from? What's influencing this fight? That's what I love figuring out on my first playthrough. And then after, I'll kill him like 20 times. No weapon,
Right, of course,
no
yeah.
summon, challenge, parry only.
Absolutely. As an Elden Ring challenge runner and someone who's played all the FromSoft games and various Souls-likes, I love the combat. However, what I do like about Code Vein and my personal just opinion is I do love that it's less nebulous storytelling. At least the first one was, and it looks like this is going to be a little bit more of a well-developed narrative instead of having to
Piece it together.
grab items and read their descriptions and kind of craft your own timeline, get the strings together, the corkboard. Well, you guys seem to speak highly of it, so I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, you were asking about that in there of like, how much of the focus is on the story, and how much, and the story is very much, a core part, it's very much at the heart of Code Vein 2. And, I think we're really excited for everybody to see what you've seen, see so much more, and, everybody to have this experience together.
Me too.
I'm very excited. I wanted to play it myself, and I wasn't allowed to.
We did have to physically restrain you for a little bit.
They had to hold me back.
Yeah.
They had to carry me out of the room, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Security!
I want to play.
But it was like I was playing right there because I was like talking to the playtester for us, and I was like, "Hey, can you try this build?" And he was very, very well receptive to it. Like, I was like, "Can you show me this menu, these items?" Because I'm a big stats guy. I do builds mainly and speed run and challenge runs for very optimized like play styles, or just weird, wacky challenge runs that are not optimized on purpose. And one of the things that I really take into account is like the scalings, the different attributes, the different weapons, like affinities, whether they have like bleed on them or status effects. I loved being able to see all of that. There was a lot of information that might overwhelm some people, but I think for me, it's like a playground. It's like kid in a candy store. Like, I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah.
You can do some crazy builds.
Yeah. When you asked for like, just can you just open the blood codes for a second?
Yeah.
I just want to look on it.
I felt bad because I was like,
keep all this in my brain, burning
Yeah.
into my retinas.
I felt
Photographic
so bad
memory.
because I was just like, can you like show me this? Can you show me the blood codes, the blood veils, the jails? Can I see the weapons? Can I see your companion? Like, just like all the stats. I just wanted to absorb all of it like a sponge, and it was great. It was great. I'm glad he showed me it.
Yeah, they
couldn't show me everything, but what he could show me was already enough.
Yeah, there's some definite crunch there that I think will appeal to people who want that kind of crunch for sure.
And there's different ways to approach it. Like, you could have like the ranged willpower builds, or like the standard, heavy weapon colossal
Range looked
weapon.
OP. It looked really good.
It was great.
I was kind of excited. I usually never do like bow builds or anything like that, but it looked fun.
Yeah, the bayonet, the idea that you can bring a gun to a sword fight just at any time is like there's an appeal to that. And
but it's also a melee weapon as well. It's both. It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
So while it does have the range, you can use it as a sword if you wish.
Yeah.
And I like that like dual aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, you guys got a taste of the character creator today. You guys checked out a boss fight. I talked to you a little bit about, the sort of setting, the inciting action of the game itself and the story. And in our next episode, which will be coming up real soon, stay tuned if you're in the future, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the characters that you meet.
I can't wait.
And
I have a lot to say.
Yeah, and a little bit more about the world. So before we sign off, I just want to make sure that we give you guys one more chance to tell people who you are and where to find you.
Oh, for sure. I'm RareGangster. I'm an 18 plus variety streamer. I specialize in Elden Ring challenge runs and the yapping as well. You can find me on Twitch or any socials at RareGangster. On X, Rare_Gangster. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun. I just can't wait to play the game.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
And I'm SYROBE. Once again, just SYROBE on all platforms. YouTube, Twitch, wherever. You'll find me. You know where to look.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and we'll see you on the next one real soon.
Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
Bye.